There we go. There's a particular red button I needed to press here before we got too much further. Real quick, just in case I need the video tag for it. Hi everyone, this is episode 113, Borrow. Da-dun-da-dun. Okay, now let's go back to... Boop, 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 boop. With a possessed Bright, although I don't think that particular aspect has been discovered just yet. But she was, I don't know, kind of saying some weird things. Was like, yeah, you know, follow me. I'll lead the way. I know a place where we can be safe. You all had run, and by you all, we also have we have someone else in tow, as there is. And by the way, if you want to use a different picture or something, let me know. But we have people that are now in a hidey hole. The undead incursion hasn't stopped. However, because you've been just on the move, Bright apparently knew some really interesting shortcuts. Unfortunately, there's a couple times where it was a shortcut for a shorty. So Bright didn't have a problem, but some of you might have had to get slowed down or just had to find a way around or through.
We have the dexterity for parkour slides.
Yes, most of us do.
Why crawl? Why crawl when you could just slide across the ground, like run at it and slide through it?
I mean, I could just fly everywhere.
Well, I mean, yeah, you don't have a Raphael like trying to shoot you now.
That is true. You might have been able to do that. However, Bright is taking you into some very close quarters areas where you're not going to be able to fly. So I guess then, Norlai, that would be your choice. Do you want to follow everyone?
My powers.
Were you an urchin in a prior incarnation?
Yep.
Yep. Sure.
All right. All right. So Norlai, as this is happening, you are picking up big urchin vibes from Bright right now. Because like this is the style and strategy that you had grown up with, and even that you remember being taught. So like sort of how to like look back or double back or you know, do almost like a Dead by Daylight where you just make sure you like move the pallet over to make sure people can't follow you easily. Just things that are just super resonating with that part of your life. And so I don't know, maybe Bright at some point had to live out on the streets and had to get all these real life hacks. But there are undead that are. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Real quick, considering that I spent like a good month or two with Bright alone, could I make an insight check?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, is this normally how Bright acts? Nope, this is normal.
Maybe, you know what? You know what, Norlai? Bright spent about 10,000 years in Heck, and maybe she picked up some things as a flame skull, where she would just have zoomies all around the city. I mean, because she'd always kind of go from, like, she'd always just rush out of that litter box she stayed in. So she'd just get zoomies around the city, and maybe this is just part of her, you know, being, you know, an eternally undead caretaker for a bunch of fiends for a long time. Yeah, maybe it's weird, but again, hey, everyone is different coming out of here, so it's, I don't know, maybe it's like, wow, we could talk. This might be cool. In fact, Norlai, it could be. Well, nothing is like triggering any kind of like, oh, this is super sus. I don't know, maybe conversely, this might be, you can pull Bright aside and actually have a talk, because this could be a fun, relatable thing between the two of you. So for this, I don't need to conduct a chase or anything. There are still undead shuffling around. There are going to be instances where I mean, like a flame skull, or not a flame skull, like one of those fiery skeletons is going to get a pop shot off, or one of you is going to get a crawling claw stuck on your leg, and you're going to have to shake it off. Despite you being low on resources, there's still the fact that, I mean, you have a lot of understanding about things. You're getting a direct route, and this is in the meta. Me as DM to you as players, simply letting you know that just because Raphael is gone doesn't mean that the undead have stopped. There is still this incursion going on. Every once in a while, there still would be, you know, a flare up of a hellish rebuke. There is, you know, there are fires from accidents or things that have happened to either try and counteract the undead, or someone might have been attacked while carrying a lamp in their house and it fell and broke. Now, fire's not too big a concern, considering that this is a primarily tiefling-made city. So a lot of it is masonry, and there's a lot of other things to just take care of errant fires. But there are still some, and so there's shouts of people in terror, or just coordinated efforts of, you know, come on, we got to keep the block safe, and in a group of people, not exactly torches and pitchforks, but I mean, it's kind of the same vibe as you're driving off the undead here. So we do have a sequence where you go through and you are taken into some very out of the way places. Mordecai, being a resident here, well, not exactly urchin levels of city navigation, where like some of this does feel familiar, and maybe there's even like a throwback to when you were a kid and you're doing this kind of quasi, like even parkour, like directly, but like, or even like quasi parkour stuff. But where Bright has taken you, I mean, this is showing that she has. Oh, there's a test, a live test, and I think it was okay. It didn't seem terribly loud. Thantos, thank you for the gift sub to Ivalon. Ivalon, enjoy your cat butt emote, because that's the one that matters. Yeah, so it's still tense outside. So Mordecai, you're getting kind of that vibe from someone who lived in the city, but you're ducking into a lot of different places. You're going through. You're like, wow, I never knew that. I never knew that there was a tunnel here, or I always thought that was just an old. You know, like, oh, you know, that was just a brick heap, but apparently it's it is a brick heap, but it's actually it's like developed to almost be like on wheels to like move out, and then you pull the brick heap back to cover up. So this is like a very manufactured, out of the way place. And by the time that you do come to your stop, where Bright is going to turn around, you know, her chest is heaving, and she said, "Okay, we're here. We should be good in the sanctuary." You see that you are in. You're in an area. There's not exactly like sunlight coming in like the picture per se, but this is an old area. There's a lot of like scrawled out graffiti, and there's these old statues that are in here, and just it's like some sort of an old, like a construction storage. Although it definitely has a sanctified feel to it. These are statues that you would see in graveyards, or would be set up in or around ossuaries. But this is a very out of the way place. It is dark, so you would need to. I mean, you'd have to produce light, or just use your eyeballs as best you can. But you end up in this. Yes.
Mordecai is actually going to cast light on the tip of his staff.
Oh, all right then. Minds of Moria style. I love it. Okay. Yes. So
Actually,
oh,
I I think I still have the motes left from my crown of stars. So I produce light right now.
Oh. How long does that last?
An hour.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you got some little swirlies, and we got Mordecai's light.
Also, Bright
Yeah.
is still on fire. So, I mean, she was for 10 minutes.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
There's a lot of light going on.
Investiture flame.
I mean, it depends on how long we've been traveling, because 10 minutes is how long it lasts.
All right. So eventually you will put yourself out, Bright. But yes, you were on fire there for about 10 minutes. But nothing really seemed to nothing bad seemed to have come from that. So all right, yeah. So you're able to crawl through these areas. And so the light fills this area. As it does, you can see all of like it's just different graffiti, and all of the building supplies. These storage. You can see that there's like a lot of masonry tools. Probably a lot of like there's bricks or maybe more like slates, which are. A couple of them that are now leaning, like that they're not just stacked up, but there's a couple that are leaning. They are tombstones to be. However, this repository doesn't. This must have been abandoned for a while, or just kept looking really old and dusty because no one's come for these tombstones. It is dirty and dusty in here. It still has the quality of someone who's been living in here for a while, but nothing is particularly clean. It's not filled with, like rotten food and, poop or anything, but it is just a derelict space filled with various tools and building supplies. But anyway, I'm sorry. You do feel that, I mean, there's nothing, no like scraping claws, no rattling bones, or things along those lines that are coming down the tunnel that led you here. But you can still hear some the sounds of commotion going on. It's very faint because it's having to go through a lot of stone in order to get here. But you are still hearing thumping. You're hearing maybe horses with carriages behind them rattling. The occasional boom as a shot is fired from one of the patrol boats above, probably down into a crowd of zombies or something. So there's very faint background noise of that going on. But here it is mostly quiet. It's filled with your own light. You're surrounded by implements of, well, kind of eternity here with these maybe burial statues, blank tombstones, shovels, masonry stuff, some construction supplies and planks and everything. But Bright kind of hops up onto an altar, maybe a to-be sarcophagus or something. That part of its side looks like it crumbled or had broken off, and so it's forming a bit of a chair that she can almost recline in. And she sits back and just sort of gives a as she's catching her breath. The rest of you are in here, and away we go.
What is this place?
Bright tells you that this is where she lives, and then stops for a second, blinks twice. I mean, this is a place that I thought would be safe.
Right, you're not from here.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Bright, your visitor, is actually confiding in you. What do I tell him?
Tell them it reminds you of when you were in Oiho.
It reminds me of when I was in Oiho.
It's probably haunted.
And it's probably haunted. Thank
Do we
you.
really want haunted things right now?
No.
Selene kind of narrows her eyes at that. And I'd like to make an insight check because Bright Bright wouldn't be like, oh, it's probably haunted. It feels very, very out of character for Bright.
And I would like to use Eyes of the Grave, actually. Because if it's haunted, there might be ghosts.
Okay. Yeah. So you activate another use of your eyes, and I don't think it would tell you that Bright is possessed. But I will say you don't see any ghosts or any other little any evidence here of undead, or you don't sense anything in that regard. But Bright has a weird I don't know. She's given off kind of a weird vibe when you glance at her with your eyes.
There's the text for it. So
Sense of presence. One moment. Because possession is kind of a weird thing here.
It does not actually protect from...
Ghost can't be targeted by an attack, spell, or other effect except those that turn undead, and it retains its alignment. So, yeah, I'm still willing to give you that Bright kind of has a weird... maybe when you look at her, she gives off almost like an aura of just like a pale aura. And you also notice that she has like two kind of whitish horns coming out of her head and a little white tail that's swishing back and forth.
I'm not talking to Bright, am I?
Yeah, you are. I'm Bright. I'm your old friend Bright from back then. And over there.
Okay, I would like to make an insight check, please.
You know, from Southport.
Yeah, from Southport. Wait. She says back to you, there's not a Southport.
Yeah, I'm just gonna...
Maybe Bright is having a weird vision, or maybe she conked her head on a beam as she was taking you through an old maintenance tunnel. Bright, I don't think they're buying it. I really don't want to be sent away. What can I do?
Well, I don't know that we'll send you away. What are you afraid of? You still haven't told me.
I don't want to die again.
Yeah, I can appreciate that sentiment. I think most of us can probably feel that way. But, you don't have to. We might be able to help you.
Are they going to hurt me if I show myself?
Probably not. As long as you don't, try to kill anyone. So don't do that.
I'll try not to. I like your body, Bright.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Hopefully I don't have to leave. Wait, and you feel like your brain kind of being rifled through like a kid looking through a toy chest, and just throwing teddy bears out until she's finding the thing she's looking for.
Hey, stop that. That's my thing.
Oh, you can do as she says that, you all now outside of Bright's body, she sort of like snaps up and like hops up on the top of this partially ruined altar or sarcophagus here, and she says, "All right, I'm gonna do something that might be weird." And you all just, well, I mean, it's Bright, so that's normal. Please, just let me talk, okay? Don't hurt me. And you see that, Bright's body, Bright, but Bright's body does the quick little flick of the hands in order to cast Minor Illusion. And shimmering over Bright. And Mordecai, this is like filling in where you saw the outline, that white outline, and especially like the horns and the tail. You see a figure shimmer over Bright, like taking her place in front of you. And you have there's the image of a tiefling girl that is overriding Bright.
Well, get to it. Who are you?
Well, I'm Farry. And I lived, she corrects her tense here. And apparently I died. I thought I got out of here when all the things started happening, and oh, I just hope it wasn't me. I'm very sorry. Am I being punished? I saw what was happening to the other ghosts, that they're getting destroyed or that they were going inside of other people and running away. And I thought maybe I could do that. I could escape too. I didn't ask to die. I didn't want to. And I'm sorry for anything that I did. I didn't mean to go there or hear the things that I did. But it's just... I panicked. And I saw Miss Bright. And of course all this is coming from Bright's voice, underneath the illusion of this tiefling girl. And I don't know where my brother or sister are, but I'm really scared, and I don't want you to kill me again, please. But I also don't know what to do, because I don't. And Bright kind of plops back down and is looking very dejected. Is the illusion, Farry apparently is, forgot that you have to you gotta keep casting that every so often. And so, like, it goes back to Bright. Bright, you can give her a little nudge, like, you might need to re-up that, if you want.
Yeah, sure. So remember those little tricks, they only last for a minute, so you have to, you have to do it again.
Oh, and once more, the tiefling girl is overriding Bright.
If you died, you don't belong here anymore.
Where will I go? I was always here. It was the three of us and the nice guy who took care of us.
I don't have it prepared today.
It's fine.
Who was it that took care of you?
A really nice guy named Aggie.
Aggie?
Yeah, he said that was his nickname, but that everyone calls him that.
Did he have other names too?
Probably. That was the name that he wanted us to call him, just so that there wasn't going to be any trouble. And he was helping us, so we didn't want to... We didn't want to ruin that.
Narla? Oh, she can't hear me. Ask Norlai if this sounds familiar to her.
Norlai, the message is conveyed. Up to you.
I mean, yeah, it's familiar. That's basically what happened with us and Mr. Halver.
Do you know where your body is?
Nuh-uh. Well, maybe. I guess it depends on when I died. It must have happened so quickly because I didn't even feel anything. I remembered that I kept running and then running, and I went out, and then I looked back. I looked back for Celly and Kal, and I didn't see them, but I everything seemed weird, and that's when I realized.
Selene is gonna come and kneel down in front of this kid. It's a real shame that you were taken in the circumstances that you were. But my dear, Mordecai is right. You have died and you do not belong here anymore.
I mean, has that really stopped any of us, though? Especially you, Selene.
That's a conversation for another time. I know a way that I can help you pass on properly. Not dying again, simply going where you were meant to go in the first place.
Oh.
And there is a wonderful lady on the other side who will take care of you. And she'll send you to where you need to go. And hey, maybe you might find your brother and sister on the other side.
No. No. That's not how it was supposed to be. That's not what was supposed to happen.
You can't stay here.
Bright, is that... you all don't hear this, but inside Bright's mind. Bright, I can stay, can't I? I can ride along. I won't make much trouble.
I don't think you're supposed to stay. I mean, you don't have to die. It won't be like that. It'll be like going home. I mean, you won't be here anymore, but you also won't be alone. And the thing is, Selene and Mordecai both specialize in this kind of thing because they're both followers of Wee-Jas, and Wee-Jas will take care of people who are in situations like yours. So, I mean, I know it's scary, which is funny because ghosts are supposed to be the scary things, and you know it's bad when scary things get scared. But it won't even hurt. It won't be bad at all. It'll just be like taking a little trip. And at the end of the trip you get to come home and your family will be waiting for you. It's very nice, actually.
Now outward to all of you. So I mean, she's quiet, and like her lips are moving in this illusory state, like she's saying something. But I don't. Why did it have to be like this? We were. No, we never could stay in one place for long, and it was always never enough, and people always told us things, and it never seemed to turn out. First it was that lady who took us in, and then it was after things got bad, and Aggie took us away from her.
one thing at a time, one thing at a time. So I have a suspicion that Norlai and I actually know Aggie. And we can't send you back to him because he's dead. But I think we might have known him. I'm not sure, because there's a lot of people in the world, but he sounds a lot like someone that Norlai and I used to know. So, I mean, you might be able to talk to her, because she knew him better than I did. She knew him for longer. You might be able to talk to her and find out if it's really him, and maybe we could, I mean, if it would help you, we could maybe find out how long ago it was that you were alive, and what happened, and all that. I mean, I don't know if you can come with us. It might be too long, and I don't know how long you can stay with us, because I'm gonna want my body back at some point. But we want to help you, and help you get what you need. That's all.
You won't have to worry about any more of that on the other side.
She's quiet.
No one will hurt you.
I don't have a choice, don't I?
That body's not yours.
Unfortunately, there was a nasty person who took that choice away from you.
Eh. No, it was my fault, I think. I messed everything up. I caused all of this. I'm sorry.
How could you? You're just a kid.
We were exploring like we normally do, and I thought I heard a familiar voice, and I split up from Celly and Kal, and I went into places that we hadn't been to before, and I saw things, and there were some people. I thought maybe I recognized the voice of one of them, but maybe not. It was really echoey. And she said something really mean about the goddess Wee-Jas, and some things happened. I gasped when it did, and I think that I was seen. And everything happened so fast, and I started to run and run and run, and I was kind of lost in the tunnels. I didn't really know where I was going, and I just kept running, and after I realized it, then I didn't have my body anymore. And I died, I think. I guess I don't think. I know. And the illusion looks... I mean, it brights hands, but, you know... Oh, I'm sorry, hang on. Okay. And then the illusion goes back up.
Do you remember the names of any really famous people from when you were alive? Like a king or a lord or someone really famous or rich that was around when you were?
Yeah, she names people who are right now, like, the events are current events.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she hasn't, because that's what Bright's trying to figure out is she been dead for like 2,000 years, or is she just someone who just died recently?
She seems to be a very fresh ghost.
Very fresh, okay. So that's good. We might be able to help you more. But, okay, so that changes my thinking a little, because maybe, how long ago was it that you lived with Aggie?
Well, we were living with him a while ago, but he stopped coming around. We thought maybe we made him upset, or something happened, or it might have been, well,
No.
he said that
We didn't
something
make
might
him
happen, and if he doesn't come back, then we gotta keep using the things that he left us and the things he taught us, because he knew that there was something bad gonna happen. He made a mean lady really upset, and he was scared that something might go on.
Yeah, so tell me more about this mean lady. Was she a human or a tiefling?
A tiefling. She
She was kind of orange and kind of radiated almost like she was really serious and really... But she had a really, like, orange thing going on, right?
Wait, you know Miss Mercury?
Well, yeah, of course.
She taught us before Aggie came to get us.
Yeah. You should tell that to the rest of the people. So that they can have that.
Oh.
So
I'm
was
sorry,
Miss
Bright.
Mercury
I'm
the
not
real-
used to this.
It's okay. I know it's hard to it's hard to talk to people in one place while you're talking to other people in a different place. I get that too. So is Miss Mercury the mean lady, or is it somebody else?
She was taking care of us, but she always seemed kind of mean. By the way, so this will be translated through Bright's mouth to you as well, externally. Yeah, she had us when we were really young kids, and just seemed to be. She would teach us, but she was very strict and just enforced a very harsh discipline, and Aggie found us, and he had a problem with her, and he took us and gave us a better life. Aggie didn't seem to like Mercury all too much.
Well, Mercury is gone now.
Well, not specifically. Not sure about that part.
You don't say that to a dying kid, Norlai.
Well, I mean, you guys keep saying stuff to her about, moving on, and you're probably just scaring her. And I'm just being honest that we don't know for sure if Mercury's dead or not, because Casimir, is still a big old dragon, and I don't know.
No,
I think it's more a matter.
That's who
more
I
like
thought I
that.
heard in the tunnels. That's why I went to go see if it was going to be her, if we were in trouble, or if she was coming back for us.
Was it her?
So
I don't think so. I thought so, but maybe not. It was tough to tell.
So, would you be able... I know that most of us... Boy... So, we're all a little tired right now. Could definitely use a nap. But afterward, would you be willing to take us into the tunnels and show us what you were looking for? Because I think we're all pretty interested in anything that Miss Mercury... Would it help you feel better if we could prove to you that Miss Mercury was gone? Would that help you move on?
Maybe not, but if it means I can spend a little bit more time like this, then if you're willing to, I'll take you in there.
I think that would be really nice.
But you have to give Bright her body back.
She can give it back in the morning. It's okay. But no later than that, because I'm gonna need it to help fight Miss Mercury probably.
Can I... If I leave you, Bright, then I might get hungry again.
What do you mean hungry?
I don't know. I don't know what ghosts eat, but I just know that I needed I needed to eat because I felt very hungry, and I went to go ask someone for help, and it really scared them, and after they got super scared, I felt full again.
Okay, how about that? Why don't you ask Selene about that? She would understand more about that than I would. But, if you know, I can't, now that everybody knows what's going on, they probably won't let you stay in my body any longer than maybe for a morning or so. But, we'll take care of you the best we can, but Selene is the one who knows the most about people in your situation.
Okay. Then this will turn outward again towards you, Selene, as you're up by Bright. So Selene, Bright said that I can stay a little bit in her, but if I leave her, I'm gonna get very hungry again, and I don't know what to do.
You feed off of the emotions of others, off of the energy that they give off, and it's something that is required to sustain you whilst you do not have a host.
Am I a vampire? Am I a vampire
No.
ghost?
No, just a ghost.
Does it have to be fear? Can it be other emotions too? Because I really like to play pranks on people, and sometimes they get not really scared, but surprised, and sometimes irritated. Is irritated good enough for you?
I'd really love it if you took irritation away from me. I don't know if it was necessarily him. He got afraid when I came up to him. I felt better, but he looked like he was really tired after, because all his hair turned white, and he looked kind of wrinkly after he was done screaming.
Oh, that's not good. We don't want to do that.
You took his time. While not in a host, you need to subsist off of the time of others, the life force of others.
I see that Mordecai gets a little guarded at this point.
Well, it's not like I wanted to. I didn't even
No.
try to. It just happened. I can try better.
It's not so much that. And Selene kind of frowns, trying to figure out how to say it. Whilst you are here and not in a body, you will have to do that to people to survive. To continue remaining, that's what you have to do. Which is why I suggested sending you on the great journey. So that you didn't have to go through that. Because you don't want to hurt people, do you?
Well, what if it was... she looks at you, Selene. Well, what if it was just like a little bit, and she is looking at your ears. You have elf blood. Elves live a long time. Maybe could I just sip a little bit from you? You have a lot to spare. Or Miss Bright is a gnome. Gnomes live a long time. maybe if elves and gnomes are around, I can.
Nope. So
It's-
hang on. I'm happy to let you borrow my body for a night, but I draw the line at sucking away life force. I'm sorry.
Selene kind of pipes up again. It's not a matter of years, it's a matter of a relative constitution. So whilst a little bit for a human might only be a year, a little bit for a gnome might be 20, 30 years.
But a day's a day. I don't understand. It's just one day, right?
Unfortunately, not anymore. The lady that did this to you took that away from you when you died.
And now I have to eat people to not die.
Either eat people,
It's a terrible existence.
or I can help you peaceably, with no pain, pass on to a place where you won't have to do that.
Farry leans over. At least the illusion of Farry leans over, so it's just like leaving Bright still standing, kind of blank-eyed. Past like Selene over to you, Mordecai. What do you know about it? Not really challenging, like kind of just like, you know.
Curious.
Yeah.
You know how you said something about vampires?
Yeah.
I used to be one.
No. You can't used to be a vampire. That was the big argument I had with Kal. Kal always talked about, I'm gonna be a vampire, and I'm gonna be really strong, and I can do all this stuff. And me and Celly always told him, no, that's not how it works. How?
Cypher is going to speak up at this point.
Mm.
And say, it took dear Mordecai here much more than it was worth to regain his life.
Well then, if Mordecai can not be a vampire anymore, I cannot be a ghost, right? Right,
Takes
mister?
Going through hell. I've been to hell. It's not a place you want to go.
No, my dear little one, it is not. Mercury's there.
She can't be.
How would you know that?
I don't. Maybe she is. If it wasn't her.
Wait, was that a question to me?
That was a question to Selene. How would she know?
Oh, that was Cypher. That was Cypher saying Mercury's there. Basically trying to reinforce the fact that, yeah, nah, kid, you don't want to go to hell. Hell is a bad place. And she's already got a negative reinforcement of Miss Mercury is bad. And so put hell with Miss Mercury, and the kid probably won't want to go there.
So, doing horrible things to people just to survive. It's not an existence. It's not a good existence. You don't want it. Trust me.
Well,
But we can send you to the afterlife and you don't have to feel any more pain. You don't have to worry. Everything you could ever want is there.
do you have to do it now, or can I have one more day?
Well,
We would
Bright
like
said
to
it
have
was
a private
okay.
And I think we'd like to have a private conversation with Bright where you're not listening in, kid.
I don't know if I can do that. Or I guess she goes silent, and you see the lips moving again, like she's having a conversation inside herself. Bright, they said I can't listen. If I leave you, though, will you let me back?
Of course, but only for one day.
You promise?
I'll let you stay at least until tomorrow, but no longer than that.
Okay. You, the illusion kind of perks back up again over Bright. Bright said she'd let me back in after you talk. So, I guess I'll go and I'll go make sure that the tunnel is clear and no one's coming after us. And you see a little ghost pull up out of the illusion drops, and this little she's not like 6 or anything. She's probably low mid-teens. Tiefling girl kind of like slumps, like, all right, but now in an otherworldly kind of an echoey voice. I guess someone come get me when you're done. And she just like she's looking back as she's talking, and she floats through the door, like she didn't have to open it, but just kind of a reinforcement of what she is. So unless she's playing ghostly tricks and she's listening in because she could just sort of like exist in a rock, you're presumably left alone. And Bright, you have your faculties again.
So, hi everyone. It's me again.
Glad to have you back.
No one else
What's
is harboring
weird?
ghosts, are we?
No, I don't see any other ones.
Okay.
So, I mean, I did tell her she could come back, but honestly, wouldn't it be better if she possessed Norlai? Because they have so much more in common. They're both like teenager tieflings. It'd be like a slumber party.
Yeah, but that's not
You can't
how
just
this is
offer
supposed
other people. You told her she could stay
Well,
with
she
you.
can. She can. I just thought maybe you'd like it better. Okay, so what is it that you had to say?
Well, we kind of need to have a talk, don't we? Like,
About what?
what are we gonna do about that kid? We have to send her back.
Of course we have to send her, but I mean-
Could we find her body? It sounds like it just happened.
yeah, since it's recent, the body's probably still somewhere, unless it was like disintegrated or something.
That's not possible at this stage.
I mean, I'm pretty sure bodies can be disintegrated.
Well, no, I'm not talking about the disintegration. I'm talking about putting her back in her body.
Oh, yeah, that's probably can't happen. No, I don't think she can be put back to life, but she could be sent on to the afterlife in a nice way. We just have to do it. Like maybe she can take us to the tunnels and we see what's in there, because right, that's the deal with ghosts, right? Is they're stuck on something in life, and so they have to resolve that, and then they can move on happily.
I mean, then there's always rituals and things that one could perform in order to send off a ghost.
Yeah, I don't know about those. You and Selene can do that. Speaking of, hi Selene, where have you been?
Yeah, speaking of ghosts, Selene, how are you here?
Yeah, that's a question on my mind.
Among many others, I'm sure.
Quite a number, actually.
Well,
We all watched you
She's not
die.
here. I just moved her token as a heads up. I'm sorry. Keep continuing, but just okay. Go ahead.
I never truly passed on.
Like a ghost.
No, not like a ghost.
You're wearing burial shrouds for Mesomasca.
I am aware. Let me tell the story. My lady commanded me to stand at the gates. Stand vigil. The beautiful Dance Macabre. The Palace of Black Ice. By the gates I stood with her watching over me. Waiting. And as the line of souls stopped, I was called back. As for this, when I was called back, I needed an anchor. It turns out that due to the undead presence, they were exhuming all of the remains in the cemetery here in Oldport to move them for safer storage and consecration.
So is that what's going on? You're borrowing a body.
More a set of bones. The flesh is mine, the bones are not.
How does that work?
Yeah, I'm wondering about
I'm-
like fitment issues.
I am much like what Raphael at the moment, but nowhere near as far gone.
So when you said you had to borrow time,
I meant it. It's how I stay here, connected to this anchor. And if I don't have it, I fade away. Like Raphael, I can get it from others, but I don't particularly relish in the prospect of stealing the souls of others.
right?
But-
So you are gonna have to leave again.
Unless unless I continue to be fed, yes.
How long do you have?
I don't know. I don't know how long what you gave me will keep me around for.
How
But
do I know this isn't a trick?
who would trick you, Mordecai?
Mercury. Grimhilder. Hell, any entity that has been against us this entire time, Selene. I've been tricked before. Someone faking to be you. Someone faking to be Corinna. I met in hell, and they erased my memories of you. So no,
First,
face value isn't an option for me.
then let me prove it to you.
I don't know if what I did was stupid. Because I'm a man in love.
I know. I know you are. And I love you too.
Am I gonna have to watch you die again? Because I can't handle that a second time.
That depends on what you mean by die.
For all I know, your bones are back in the ossuary, back in Old Port. Or Mask of Horns, rather.
They are.
I buried them there.
They were interred there.
Same difference.
Considering my skull, I'm pretty sure is currently in the ceiling of the speaker's office, I would beg to differ. But, yes, my bones are still in Old Port. The ones that I am piloting... Well, Mask of Horns, sorry. That was my bad.
Pardon.
You're piloting the bones of a Mesomaskin.
I think you would recognize this burial dress, Mordecai.
I wasn't there for her burial.
It's the vessel that I resonated with the most. The only one that I really resonated with enough to be able to manifest, as it were.
So how is this not a trick?
Because if it was, why do you think Raphael was so intent on getting rid of me?
Wasn't about to let that happen.
No, but why do you think he was so intent of getting rid of me?
I never knew him, so I could never say.
No, but you fought him. I saw you fight him. And Cypher speaks up as well. We have fought him before. Given what I've been able to gather about the thing that he had become, it maybe Selene was going to be in his way.
He was absorbing souls to gain power. Maybe that's why the line stopped. I don't know. I don't know enough about that.
I mean, the line did stop, but there was something else that was odd. And Selene looks to Bright. There were I found it weird, but there were a distinct lack of gnomes.
A lack of gnomes where? I mean, there's a lack of gnomes in general.
In
So
the
many
line.
died. Oh. Well, maybe that's good. Was there a large surplus of gnomes previously?
No. An average number, and then none.
That's very strange. I don't know how to respond to that, but I'm glad. I guess. I'm not sure. Maybe they've.
It could also mean that we're going to see an increasing number of ghostly things that haven't moved on because, for whatever reason, they're not going to the gate.
Just what I want, thousands and thousands of ghost gnomes.
This is when Selene pipes up. Wasn't the flesh tree and green shield?
Yeah, a lot of the gnomes were eaten by the flesh trees. But that doesn't release the soul? Is there trapped in there?
Maybe they're still alive in some malformed mass.
I mean,
Living on like that for eternity.
Jade got eaten by the tree, sort of, and she never really moved on exactly. She
became part of it.
Well, that and she was there in Idaho to, contribute a little in her own way. Huh.
Yeah.
And Cypher kind of thinks for a moment. And then with what's happened in Oct, because I don't know if you guys glanced off the side as we went past, but
You trailed off, Professor.
think about it. Oct is now consumed by...
Well, flash trees. As far as we understand.
And the primary population of Oct was...
Gnomes.
And as far
and
as...
also humans.
Well,
Humans live there too.
And as far as what Selene says... lack of gnomes in the line. Flesh trees. Primary source of gnomes in Mesotopia is Oct. Oct is now flesh trees. You see where I am going with this?
yeah, that they're still alive, continuing to exist in a fleshy mass.
Or at the very least, that their souls have not left this world, although... Soul Mumbo Jumbo is not my form of expertise. I'm going to leave that to you and...
I wouldn't call myself an expert at all. I'm new to this.
So what that means, flesh trees in a can isn't really good enough. We have to open the can and destroy the tree.
Yes.
Raphael did say he put that cap on there.
Probably because
That's
he wasn't able
unfortunate.
to get into it himself. Because I'm sure that if he could have, he would have. This cipher speaking.
So do we have to open up the can and destroy the tree then?
It might
mean,
be a
to
bit
what
more
end?
than that. It might be a bit more than that.
And I don't know about that. Last time I was the only one who was able to do anything. And
Yeah.
then we ran away.
Yeah,
The last
we had
day
bad
we
intel
talked-
last time. Now we know what to expect. We'll be better prepared.
One would hope. At least we would know whether we're effective or not before losing someone else to it again.
And Selene kind of looks at you, Mordecai. Is that proof enough? Because I wouldn't know these things if I hadn't crossed over.
I don't know
So-
what anybody knows at this point.
How long is the line? Like, how much of a wait are we talking?
Souls pass through there at a regular rate. It's actually quite quick.
Okay, that's good news.
It's
I
just
don't like
it was
waiting in
halted
line.
because Raphael was consuming souls, or at least that's what I believe. Now that you've told me what he was doing, that's what I believe.
Yeah.
And as I said, I am much like Raphael at the moment. I need the life energy of others to stay around.
Yeah, that's a thing that's going
he-
around lately.
He gorged himself. I am not planning to do such a thing.
He was claiming that it gave him some kind of power, but
Well, it
in
does.
the end he seemed empty.
It does. It does give power, but with power comes a price.
Selene, I have a weird question, and I don't know if you'll know the answer to it or not, but I mean, the Shadowhar are all basically followers of Wee-Jas, right? I mean, isn't that as they've come in, they've made the Wee-Jas faith even more prominent than it was before. So how is it that they're able to justify keeping souls bound to power their ships? Wouldn't that be offensive?
Not in the ways that you might think. You see, there are, as of right now at the very least, 3 important branches of the worship of My Lady.
Whoop. Hello? Oh, there we go. At least I have lost... I've lost connection. Test. Hello? I will try once more. No, you all can hear me? I can't even hear you through Discord. Hang on one second. We'll try this again.
We good? Yeah.
Hello.
I hear you.
Hello?
How are you today?
Wow.
Oh. Welcome everyone. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means? We are going to be doing some role playing tonight.
Actually, it's now Wednesday.
That's true by 1 minute.
It's 12:01.
Yeah.
No, we lost our chance. We literally can't play D&D anymore today.
Ooh, shut up.
No, sorry. Right. It was a cliffhanger moment too when the tech failed.
Yes.
All right.
But
So the last thing, at least that I heard, was there were 3 branches of the faith, and then
yes.
So if we want to rewind,
Yep. So reformed, which is what Mesotopia practices normally. Shadowheart Orthodox, which is practiced obviously by the Shadowheart, and fundamentalism, which is practiced by extremist people who are far too crazy for their own good.
And I think Raphael...
Yeah, those
At
are the ones
least.
that are resurrected Raphael. And maybe you as well.
He did make a mention of something like that.
And Wee-Jas has no problem with any of these 3. Because of the fact that they all... It is different ways of respecting the dead. The Reformation movement seeks to allow the dead to pass on into their own personal paradises. Noble. The Shadowheart Orthodoxy, to some extent, use the dead to help the living. Which, whilst there are some morally and ethically grey practices, is in itself an altruistic thing. Attempting to use the dead to bring forward the living. So that even in death, you are able to serve as you see fit. And then there is fundamentalism, the original kind, who explore the depths of necromantic magic with no regard for moral or ethical prices. The Shadowheart may practice some things that are morally grey, but there are some things that even the Shadowheart Orthodoxy won't touch. And Cypher nods, and we saw it. We all saw those hands, and that is just an example. And Selene goes to say something but stops. And then looks to Cypher. I'm sorry, who are you?
This is Cypher. We met him after you died.
We don't know his real name. Because it can't just be Cypher. You have to have 2 names.
Well,
And I know his first
sometimes
name
we
isn't
just-
Professor.
I mean,
sometimes I just call him Professor.
Selene kind of looks to you, Norway. I don't have 2 names, Norway. Just Selene.
Yeah, and I don't have 2 names either. I have like 18.
I just have 2.
Well,
That's so boring.
you should
Wow.
have 2 names.
When you're the only
how are
Mordecai
they going to tell
Silverleaf
you
in the
apart
50
from
mile
any
radius.
other Selene?
Well, the fact that I am now technically not living.
Technically. That's the same technicality as a vampire, I guess.
I'm not undead, but I'm also not living. But I'm also not dead.
Are you mineral? You could be mineral.
Are you just mostly dead?
No, how do I...
It's wibbly wobbly, magic-y stuff.
I would like to cast a detect good and evil. Sorry, detect evil and good. Because
Okay.
they go evil and good.
Yeah. So you detect. You detect a fae, a fiend, and 2 celestials. And I don't. I'm gonna say an aberration as well.
And I know I know which one is which because I know where that creature is located.
Yep.
So I look at Bright and I'm guessing I see Fae.
Yep.
I look at Norreli and I see Fiend.
Yep.
I look at Cypher and I see Aberration.
Yes.
And I look at Mordecai and I see Celestial.
Yep.
And then I look at myself and I see Celestial.
Yes.
And then there's the ping of undead from outside.
Yep. Yeah. You do detect undead. She apparently is still keeping her distance.
And Mordecai, you see Celene's slow turn to you. I'm kind of a bit further along than you.
What do you mean?
So, there is... You know tieflings, right?
I am one. Or...
No,
we've-
You were one.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
Norreli
Where did I-
here. She's still a
where did
tiefling.
Yep. Born
Them
and true.
and the things like the things that are down in
Hell?
yeah, that's the one. The place
Or
where
we've all been.
the place where demons come from. Those are fiends. But when there is shadow, there must be light.
I mean, it does seem a little weird that fire is not nearly as, brush it off as usual. And I have a streak of black hair. Where in the world that came from? Like,
Well, if
this-
you're
this is-
if you're celestial, which is the term given to what Raphael was and what I am.
But why are we all showing, like, our pure forms? I mean, gnomes are related to Fae, but we're not Fae. And tieflings are related to fiends, but they're not fiends.
And why am I not a fiend?
Well, celestial nature, strip of black hair, and she kind of points up at her own black hair, which is just as long and luscious as you remember it.
Hmm. I suppose that mean that kind of explains the part elf that comes up. We didn't identify to try and determine that kind of thing, and that's what came up. Mostly unknown with a smidgen of elf.
Mordecai, would you like to roll either a investigation or a religion at advantage?
Okie dokie, I can do that. I have both the same.
Ooh.
19. Not bad.
It might seem, well, Selene, if you are trusting what she's saying, and if your guard is still up, hey, that I understand. She didn't pass through the gates. She wasn't completely, maybe she wasn't completely dead. And she also was brought back, and she resonated, especially with a particular someone who you also held affection for. I wonder then if there's a connection between your sort of holding on as well as her return back here, but more specifically, like almost a gravitational towards you. Maybe you are the one who brought her back because of this deep, deep connection that you held. So much so that you held on to her and she didn't pass.
Is that why I have wings occasionally?
Feathery wings are a symptom. And
I like the use of that word.
Well, given that she was a surgeon,
Yeah.
in life,
Yep.
before she became a cleric, she was a surgeon. It would make sense.
Mm.
And you would see that she would spread her arms out, and for a moment you would see two rather large wings of black plumage pop out for just a moment before they disappear. Because she's still technically, like in mechanical terms, half elf, but it would make sense that she would belie her celestial nature like that, but she can't actually use them to, like, fly or anything. So, thematic benefits with no mechanical benefits. I think you would be alright with that, right, Maddie?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. But, unlike your ethereal ones, Mordecai, hers feel more solid.
Are
Like,
they black
you
or
feel
white?
like you're black.
Black, okay.
Oh, that's
And-
interesting.
Well, there's another thing to think about as well, but I don't think I'm comfortable showing that in front of everyone. On my back, Mordecai. On my back.
Oh,
And I'm in a dress. With nothing else.
right.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Well, if we're talking about tattoos that are new, I've got wings. They kind of flutter. They just kind of appeared after we got out of hell.
You mean like my ones on my back? That I've had ever since you first met me?
Not folded, though. Yours are folded, if I remember right.
They are. But similar in style, no?
Yeah. Oh, this is weird. This is very weird. Right. So are we just sending off the ghost? Or
Yes.
are we letting them linger?
We will...
Because I don't exactly have that ceremony prepared.
I do.
Which is a weird thing.
Bright was gonna let her stay until morning. I think it would be rude not to do that.
Oh yeah,
Well-
we'll let her come back.
Yes.
I think kind of resting up a little bit and then getting back to the tumbled wench. Because this isn't a place... I don't think this would be safe enough to sleep, would it?
Well, I
Yes,
think
it
the
seems
tumbled
like-
wench is probably more comfortable.
If it's not on fire.
There's that.
Yeah, that's fair. How far away are we from the tumbled wench?
A lot of this has been through buildings, basements, and underground. So unless you have some sort of subterranean sense, or an intrinsic, like I don't, you'd have to have like that urchin sense, or like the dwarven, like whatever depth sense or something to know.
Yeah. No, I don't have urgent sense. Nor do I have keen mind.
Okay,
So I can't, I don't know.
I don't know this town well enough.
I'm kind of exhausted.
I mean, I can summon more owls. It wouldn't be too hard to see it from the sky.
That's true. Actually, why don't I just, why don't I just conjure up Peggy Sue and have her fly up and take a look? See if we could...
If you want, like, you'd have to send her out through the twists and turns. Because while there are the windows here, remember I did say, like, you're not necessarily, like, getting beams of light coming in. This is an out of the way. This is just the closest I could find to represent the style of place that you're at.
So there's no, like, usable window or door at all? It's just all, like, rubble everywhere? Or?
Well, there's a door here, yes. And at some point in time, there was a window, but it is... Maybe this is underground. Things were built atop it or against it, such that there's not... You know, you had to bring your light in here to light up everything, and especially in the tunnel along the way. Though,
Okay. So,
can I get a... from Selene or Mordecai, can I get another religion at advantage?
I can do that.
You probably have the better intelligence. I don't.
I have proficiency in religion. Small hit. 18.
That's better than the 8.
Not an 8.
There is a calmness and a peace that's here. This place has a resonance with you, and Mordecai, something you might have picked up on as well is that this is hallowed. or this is
I would
a
have picked
sanctuary.
that up too. With the detective lingo, I would have pegged that this place has been magically consecrated.
So, I mean, the ghost was here. Whatever that might mean, or it's a power that it can that it has, but this does seem to be an out of the way place. You can leave. This isn't me as your DM going like, come on guys, I really need you to like, come on, sleep here, please. I got plot. You can leave if you want. It's just if you want to stay, there's a reasonable amount of
Defense.
things for you to consider staying. But you can leave. You can go back to the Tumbled Wench. It is above ground, and there is still the incursion going on. So that's way whatever's going to work best for you.
We need to rest.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of interested to stay here now because, I mean, something about this place is probably like amplifying our... Oh, it's amplifying our spirits. Just like that's why the ghost can haunt it, because it's like a soul amplifier here, because that's why we all seem to register as like our alter selves.
Right.
Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
You're magnified.
Makes kind of sense. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a working theory.
Yeah. Let me cast a couple of quick spells. Let me see if I can cast a detect. Well, I mean, I know I can cast it. Let me cast a detect magic. I don't have it prepared, so I'm gonna have to cast it as a
Ritual.
as a ritual. But I want to see if I can pick up on like if there's like a magical, relic or something that's producing that effect here. And if not, then maybe I'll look around for something just by looking for it.
Yeah. Okay. So you begin the ritual. We can auto-complete, or if there's something you all want to do within the span of 11 minutes. Or however long.
I insist on 11 minutes of real time.
All right. We must give her complete silence. There is a point, though, that she's going to peek her head back in through the slab that was like kind of rolled in the way here. Is it okay if I come back in? I didn't see anything. I heard some things and someone screamed really loud. It wasn't because of me though.
That's good. Yeah, you can come back in, but I'm not ready for you to possess me again just yet because I'm doing some work. But maybe in like half an hour you can come back in. I mean, you can come back in the room, but in the body like half an hour maybe.
Okay. She floats over.
So, what did I detect?
The graffiti is glowing with abjuration magic.
Huh. Okay. Well, let me take a look at that graffiti. What does it look like?
And in the time that she's casting that, actually, Mordecai's gonna go try and find something that would make for comfortable sleeping quarters.
Okay.
And also I have that, just in case I need it.
Yeah, that will come in handy. Well, actually, can you read Draconic?
No, I don't know Draconic.
Okay, then that'll definitely come in handy.
Okay.
All right, so Mordecai's going off to rummage through this area. What are the rest of you doing while this is going on? Selene, you want to go with?
Yeah, I'll go with.
Norlai?
I'll stay with Bright.
Okay, and Professor?
Professor is also going to stay in here with Bright, because the Professor can also read any language.
Okay.
Yeah, he can also just straight up read Draconic.
Okay. So this is
So the professor can read Draconic and also any other language, but especially Draconic.
Especially Draconic. Or he can also speak Draconic, is the difference.
So it's not just an in, it's also an out. The words that are written here are nothing that has a magical incantation, let's say, that is, a string of certain words that vibrate the ether in front of you to help you manipulate the magic, or it's not even some tried and true magic words that exist, like in abracadabra, or in the case of Featherfall, oh shit. These are almost like practice words. It's draconic, but the way that they're written is infernal. They have that kind of squiggliness to them, and they're words that are things about things about life. A lot of simple ideas. You're reading names in here as well. You are reading Farry, Celly, and Kal in places, and you're seeing that there's almost like it's kids just sort of writing out words and learning. I do want you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this is probably where Farry lived when she lived with Mr. I mean Aggie, when she lived here with her brother and sister. That's what I think.
Well, you directly mention it. I won't even ask for a roll now anymore. So you don't get to roll dice. I just give you a good result. Take that. What you're seeing is a magical concept that perhaps is something that helped pique your interest in why it was that Delos was, he was an oddball practitioner in a sense. He wrote these books. Maybe they're very useful, but the way that this is here, it's almost like this was magic that is manifest out of just every day. Like, these are just moments of the lives of these kids that have been written down. They're things that have been written with, learning or compassion or meaning. And in a sense, you're getting this feeling for this is like one of the tenets in Delos of the Blue Flames books. Which I don't know if you have that anymore. I know you're carrying one to go get autographed when you were visiting Mezamaska.
Yeah, I had that at the start of the game, but I think we've lost all our inventory a couple of times, so I probably don't have it anymore.
It's out there.
But there would be another copy in the Great Library, probably.
Well, and I will say this as well, because these are the scrawlings of everyone. You actually do find an authentic Delos name. It is Delos's name. Delos of the Blue Flame is written out there as well.
Okay. So, theory confirmed. And you said they were glowing with abjuration.
Yes.
Okay. I want to identify, see if I can get more insight into that abjuration. I mean, cause maybe the inscriptions are imbued so that the people who wrote them would be protected here, and maybe that's why she called it a sanctuary, even though it's not really a church. Or maybe it's a church. I'm not sure from looking at the screen.
It has. This wouldn't be something that would be recognized as an ossuary of the faith of Wee-Jas, or really of any others. At one time, this was kind of a supply depot that had religious objects or things that could be tangent to it, because you have you have statues that could be more personalized or have names engraved. You have a lot of tombstones that could be filled out but haven't. You have a lot of things that could be built into a memorial with the carpenter's tools, the mason's tools, and everything. So this place has a lot of potential, and it does carry this kind of low-key, at least a reverence, but it's not necessarily dedicated. It doesn't have a lot of the things that would be commonly found. But that's going into the feng shui of this Delos magic of this is the magic of making a house a home. This is the place. This is the feeling. These are the moments of everyday life that have been imbued in this place that just give it this sanctuary.
Okay. So is that the result of the identifier, or is that just a description of the place?
This is your mind turning over what you got from the identify spell, because the identify is it's going beep boop. I get abjuration magic, and here are some qualities that I can quantify within this spell. But you're having to read into these results, or you have to sort of make the shape of the spell from what's not there. You have the context around it that'll give you the silhouette, but you have to read the silhouette.
Okay. Okay. So, I'm still not sure what's special about the walls or the ink, or, but Farry's still here. Farry's back, right?
Yeah.
Farry came back. So, Farry, are these things that you wrote here on the walls? Are they, did Aggie tell you anything special about, like, was this part of an assignment, or did he tell you that, like, writing these things would help you somehow?
Well, as life happened, as things, he just said to always make sure that you remember the things that happen in life, and that we're the reason to live, and that we're the ones who will. And she just pauses as she's comparing what the lessons are to her current state. And it just, if we surround ourselves with memories and life and love, that we'll be protected. And it was a kind of a spell. He knew some magic, he told us, but I don't know. Kal never really seemed to believe it too much, or at least not that he could do more than just a couple tricks, but I don't know. I always liked, and she'll kind of like float up to, I remember I had to get the ladder and right up here. This is when Celly ended up, this is when Celly first ended up finding the tunnels, and it was really scary. There was a lot of bugs, and they swarmed out and really bit her up, and so I made sure to write this down, but she didn't want to remember it, but I knew it was an important moment because we were all so scared for her, so I told her that's okay, I'll put it out of the way for you, so you don't have to see it everywhere you go. And down here, this, like over here, this is Kal, and that was, I don't know why this was important to him, but he kind of boasted about it. Apparently, that's as far as he could pee one day, and it broke a record that he set for himself. And he wanted us to just know that he was super proud of that, and so he wrote it down in a very prime spot that I was hoping to take with something that would be more meaningful.
So, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? And this is, not really to Farry, but more to the rest of the group. Isn't it interesting how that tradition of recording your day on the walls seems to have made its way here from Oiho? Remember in the tower in Oiho, it was all like chronicles written on the walls too. Yeah. Okay. So Did you write all of these, or did the others write some of the inscriptions too?
He wrote a couple things. He wrote us a couple reminders, and he told us that there's this really popular magician that we should hear of and tell people about, named Delis. And he wrote down Delis's name over here, and that's where that's over here where it was written. So he gave some reminders and some advice, but he told us that we needed to fill this place with our memories, and that way too, if anything happened to us, that we wouldn't be forgotten.
Well, you're definitely not forgotten. Tell me what happened to Kal and Celly. I'm sure you know. And if you don't want to tell the others, if you just want to tell me, you can, come in and just tell me if you want.
They, no. I don't know what happened to them. I just know that we split up, and it was stupid, because I always told them, if we're ever exploring the tunnels under the city, you never split up. And I was the one that did, and I don't know. I didn't see them above. I didn't see them as ghosts, but I didn't see them as zombies, but I also didn't see them running around.
So you left the group, and you don't know what happened to them afterward.
Yeah, and then everything else happened so quickly, and here I am.
Interesting. Have you ever seen them here?
We live here.
But ever since you became like you are now.
I hope they come back. This is the first time I've been back. At least that. Well.
Bright, do you think you could scry on one of them?
I could try. Yeah. Why don't I try scrying them, and see if do you have anything of theirs? Like any clothes, or like a favorite toy, or anything like that?
Oh yeah. She'll fly over, and she'll try to pick stuff up, but can't.
Okay,
and
well,
she just
just point it out to me.
Like looks at her hands, and she's like silently crying that she can't pick up.
Yeah, I'll teach you how to pick things up even without using your hands. That comes in real handy if you don't have hands that work, or at all. So, I assume she has some stuff that's.
Oh yeah, there's toys, there's clothes, there's a hairbrush, there's apparently there's apparently fingernail clippings that Kal was keeping in a box.
Okay, I don't know why he'd do that, but okay.
He was always kind of gross.
Okay, so I'll start with a hairbrush. That's awfully traditional. I know that'll grant me good dice rolls by using the hairbrush. So we'll just pick up the hairbrush. Whose was this? Was this Celly's or Kal's?
We all used it, but we only had the one.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not as good. I need something that belongs to just one of them.
Oh. Okay, well, well, the fingernails I know are Kal's. You can use those.
Yeah. Fingernails are actually great, because that's technically a body part, so that'll work real well. So, here we go. I'll scry on Kal. I've heard of the target, so that's a +5 modifier. And I have -10 for the fingernails.
Okay. Bum, bum, bum.
And my DC is 21.
Yeah.
And he has -5, so that's
Yeah.
gonna be
That's probably
that's
not gonna
be tough.
Yeah.
Oh, 20. I'm gonna have to recalculate my DC. I thought it was 21. Well, either way, that's not gonna be very easy. But he might have wisdom proficiency. I don't know.
Yeah, alright, you see, your sensor appears, and, you see, a little tiefling boy, who is on a roof, and is looking, he's alive, he's looking pretty tore up, though, and he's just sort of, like, laid back, and just seems to be in agony. There's some bloody rips in his clothing, and he looks. His tail has a couple chunks taken out of it.
Oh no! But he's alive. That's good.
Yes.
Do I see enough? Do I see enough to like identify where he is?
This is. It's 10 feet. I'm going to say no due to the range, because I don't think the scrying sensor can somehow zoom out. And you're also not familiar with the city. So I'm going to say that, I mean, he's on a rooftop somewhere. But that's the best you have.
Right.
The rooftop's not on fire. I mean, if it was, that'd be easier to find, but that would also be very tragic for Kal.
Yeah. So good news, the roof is not on fire. Okay. So unfortunately, I don't have modify memory right now. I don't have the power for it. But Farry, here's a thought, okay? I'm gonna keep this scrying up, and maybe you can, because normally only I can see it, but if you come and possess me while I keep the scrying up, maybe you'll be able to see it too. I don't know, I've never tried. It's worth a shot. And then maybe you can find out. But I can tell you he's alive, but he's also hurt, and maybe if you can see where he is, maybe we can help him.
Are you sure?
I mean, yeah, I told you we were gonna let you do it anyway, so. Okay, don't. Oh, ow.
You
Okay.
got to the and that's so yeah, Norlai and Cypher, you see the ghost just and Bright kind of shakes a little bit and her eyes flutter back open and she reactivates. While this is going on, Mordecai and Selene, there's a little bit more to this place. It's not just one room. It's not an expansive, like, an abandoned apartment complex or anything along those lines. There are some areas that it does look like this is where the kids were using as like a bedroom, and they were using opened unpersonalized sarcophagi. Like they have like bedding in them. So it's like nice. It's big for them for their size, but they also have bedding down in there, so they crawl in and sleep. There's no lids or anything around, but they're just like stone sarcophagi that I mean you all could use. There's also places because of the shelves and the scaffolding. There's places that if you move the wood out of the way, you could make it'd almost be like being in a crawl space in a basement. So it'd be like a little short, but you could crawl in there and presumably sleep. There's enough bedding and other things that you could use to be reasonably comfortable as well, so that you're not you're finding home-like stuff that's here.
Yeah, I start collecting all of the bedding to kind of accommodate us adults
Okay.
We're, I mean, only Bright's child size.
Okay.
And so just kind of pulling all the bedding out to make it more comfortable to, I guess, sleep on the floor because the sarcophagi might not be big enough. And that's kind of weird. And so that's what Mordecai is doing. Just kind of silently pulling bedding out of boxes, I guess.
Okay.
A little bit.
Yep, you can unpack that stuff. And Selene is welcome to join in if you'd like. Or Selene, is there anything else that you want to do or look around while this is happening?
Yeah, I'll take a glance around.
Is there anything in particular you're looking for? Or are you...
Well, this area was of religious significance. So I want to see if there was anything, like, they accidentally left anything major behind.
There's certainly a religious resonance. There's nothing that is like a holy in direct appearance. There's things that have some symbols of Wee-Jas, but it'd be sort of like having a place that makes tombstones already have them pre-engraved with crosses, stars of David, etc., and they're kind of just waiting on the commission to put a person's name on it. So while it's there, it's not necessarily a projection of praise. It's there because it's a part of something that will become an icon of Wee-Jas, or it will become a marker signifying something that's beyond just an object that has the image on it. So, I mean, this place has great potential. I mean, this could be made into a very a more officially sanctified, like as per the Hallow spell kind of a thing. It would take to it pretty easily because it has the vibes. It just doesn't have the specificity of the religious direction. It's full of potential.
Yes. Okay. Interesting. All right. Well then, yeah. If there's the vibes down here, but not really anything of particular note, which is fine. So wait, how big are these sarcophagi?
Full adult sized. And
It's a little weird to go to sleep in a sarcophagus.
Which would be a little extra wide because there are tieflings that need a little bit of extra room for their tails to be, displayed in the fashion they'd want, and a little extra height in case some do have particularly long horns. So,
considering where my bones are right now, I think I would find that a nice change of pace.
To sleep in a sarcophagus or coffin?
You forget, I haven't been to sleep in 2 years. Ish. Time is weird.
Yeah, it's only been a couple of months from my perspective.
It's only been a couple of months.
When we came out of that place, months had passed. And then we spent a couple of months kind of going around the region, and then we went to hell, and time went warpy for all of us. I feel like I've only spent a week in hell. But Bright says that she spent hundreds, thousands, who even knows how many years down there.
Yeah, all of the above.
And so, from my perspective, we interred you months ago, not years. So it's kind of weird seeing you here.
It's kind of weird seeing me here.
I am both confused, ecstatic, sad. I'm a mix of emotions right now.
Yes, I would imagine so, but... And there's a smile on her face. I mean... If you really don't believe me, that I am exactly who I say I am, and that I am here because of the reasons why I say I'm here, I do have one way above every other that I could prove it.
How exactly?
Well... It's very simple, really.
Okay.
It is going to involve you getting into one of those sarcophagi, though.
That's not weird.
Oh, don't worry, she had me get in the sarcophagus once too. It was fine. I mean, I got to come back out again.
Trust me, Mordecai. Have a little faith.
I want
Yeah.
to.
You have quite a bit more than the regular person now. I think you could spare a little for me.
Right. Sure. And he goes towards one of the sarcophagus and puts down the bedding.
Okay. Ooh.
Well,
You're not
okay.
gonna lock me into this.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to lock you into the sarcophagus. What do you take me for?
A cleric of Wee-Jas who might find it funny.
No, no. Not now, at least. Later, maybe, but not now.
All right, and he goes to the sarcophagus and sits in it.
And she's going to go up and get into the sarcophagus with him.
And here, my friends, we fade to black for a break.
We do. As she's going to put a finger to his chest and basically just touching just above his heart. I'm going to prove to you, without a shadow of a doubt, who it is that I am. And she's gonna push him down and shut the sarcophagus with both of them inside. And fade to black.
Oh my.
All right, we are going. Actually, if any time is a good time to fade to black, it is just that on a break. Because yes, I am wiggling in my seat, both from excitement at what's happening and also because I've had 3 cans of soda. So let's take
before you go, real quick.
Yes.
Can I find out? Did Farry, was she able to see the scrying, or did that not work?
She is having trouble. She's not quite sure where it is, but like she knows that Kal liked to hang out on the rooftops in the dock district because he said that's where a lot of fun stuff, quote unquote, happens. So if she doesn't know where, but
okay, it did work. That's all I wanted to know. You can go take your break now.
Okay. All right, everyone.
I have other plans.
About 10 minutes.
We'll be right back.
Eat and do your things, and we will come back to continue. Oh, and don't forget to don't forget to if you got a bit or two floating around, you know, put some sprinkles on the muffin there.